Welcome to ReallyLearnGuitar.com, and thanks for joining us for this installment of Jeff's Tips. Today we're going to be talking about pivot tones. Pivot tones is an easy concept as well, if you have an understanding of keys. We give a strong fundamental understanding of keys in our course, ReallyLearnGuitar.com course. So what we're going to be talking about here today is switching from one key to another based off of a single tone. So the progression that I was just playing, simply put, was C major to A minor to G major to E minor. Okay? And I played that a couple times, and then I ended on a single tone. And a tone is just a single note, no chords involved. And I chose that to be an E note. And I went from there to the key of B, which we'll understand in just one second, in which case I used an F sharp major and an E major to a C sharp minor to a B, and then I used a B note to pivot back to the key of C, and it worked. One real important thing to keep in mind is you have to play in one key for a little bit of time to really get the effect of this working. I suppose you can do it any way your imagination or ear allows you to do, but generally speaking, you want to spend a little time in one key. So now real quick, let's take a look at the board and understand it on paper. Okay, so here we have the key of C, which is a C major chord, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, and B diminished. And then I went to the key of B, which is a B major, C sharp minor, D sharp minor, E major, F sharp major, G sharp minor, and A sharp diminished. Now, you'll notice that there's really nothing in common between these two keys. There's no like chords whatsoever. Okay? So the only way that you can get from one key to the other, well, there's actually a couple ways, but in terms of what we're talking about, we need a common tone. So by tone, I mean just the letter E, not referring to any chord whatsoever. Or you see here, we have the B note, which is in common. Okay? And there's no other notes in common, so we can't pivot any other way. So once again, my chord progression went from C to A minor to G major to E minor. And then I played the progression again, but the second time around I ended on an E note, and I played it a couple times to break your ear of what you were used to hearing so that the new key wouldn't be so extreme to hear. And then in the new key I played an F sharp major, an E major, a C sharp minor, and a B major. Now you'll notice that I put the pivot tone as the last chord in the progression so that I can get back and forth from one key to the next. So my final I played that progression twice, and then my pivot chord, or my pivot tone, was a B note, which led me back into the key of C, onto the C chord. This isn't a widely used method of modulation, switching from one key to the next, but it can be done. A lot of the older composers did do it, but a lot of today's musicians don't seem to do stuff like this. And it's a shame because it is a possibility of things that can be done. So spend a little time getting to know your keys, and you can make a world of change and new music for everybody to hear. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you next time.